Another episode of On Point where we focus on the core stuff of sexual dynamics. Back with Royce, one of the three original R's of the Manosphere, who created the red pill as we kind of know it today. I like this post. It's a satirical take on a lot of things that you guys all see and all kind of hear people talking about on various platforms. Betas can find love too. Now, when he talks about betas here, he's talking about the loveless loser, basically. The guy who has no charm, no game, not in shape, no power as he described it in a previous video. Basically, what do you do when you suck? Once a man understands his power as a function of his environment and not an absolute value, he can begin to game the system and take advantage of market inefficiencies to score high-quality women. Alphas are naturally dominant in their environment, so for them, there's no need to learn how to pick this stuff up. The affections of women are something they've always known. That's why asking this guy for pickup advice is a fruitless exercise. It's better just to observe him in the action and model yourself after him. And while books and forums and experience have taught me much, they all pale in comparison to the eye-opening enlightenment I received from my first mentor, an older male friend. At that time, I was 14, he was 26, he was cool as F, an older guy who let me get behind the handlebars for the first time in my life when I promptly drove his motorcycle over a curb. Without missing a beat, he then taught me how to do donuts. The time I spent tagged along with one of his dates was a gorgeous grad student and the mental jolt I needed to set me on the path of righteousness. So he gives you a couple ideas here. Now, part of it is just teaching loser guys how to do better than they're doing now. And that's kind of the dream. Most guys have online courses, sell that kind of stuff. There's a bit of a critique and satire in there as well, because you see a lot of guys doing this that causes them a lot of pain down the line. So we'll go through the list. Anyways, think of both sides of that equation as I go through these. The first one, travel to an economically depressed second-tier country like Russia or East European neighbors where the culture is not too different and the women are known hot commodities and spend a couple months there. You should avoid all mail-order bride services, save his money up, and go live there for a while. This will reduce the chances of getting conned. He'd be smart to get CDs on learning Russian, listen to him in his car while commuting to his crappy soul-killing job. An average American beta with the average income, average style who isn't a drunk will get treated like a minor rock star in Russia, which, if the stories are true, really should be renamed Betatopia. By the way, stay away from Moscow. Stick to the sticks. If you guys don't remember, Royce actually had Roosh doing this for the last couple years and didn't go so well for him. A lot of guys end up having issues with this, and that was the problem, is that even there was this market inefficiency because they were just coming out of the Cold War. Guys were dying at 50 years old. There was way more women, and women were a lot hotter because they didn't have deep-fried anything to eat, and appies weren't on Tuesday. Problem is, guys went down there and just screwed themselves over. They really did. Roosh came back, found God, and turned into the Unabomber. I've had clients that I've talked to before that end up coming back from there, realizing the girl wasn't all that, and I'm sure everybody's watched that PewDiePie video where Big Ed came back with his, well, I guess his was Southeast Asian, but same thing. Comes back with the girl and basically screws it up by being himself. So this one hasn't aged too well, but as satire, it holds up perfectly. Not keen on the hassle of traveling and importing first-rate POAs? You can try scooping up the ones who shell out their own travel expenses and come here. Identify the places where au pairs hang out in this city. They'll usually be in bunches, giggling nervously, heavy accents, because their services sending them overseas assignments tend to do it in groups. The trick is to catch her before she knows the true power of her beauty. Remember that many young women are leaving countries where men ugly, unemployed, trots all of them and treats them all like trash. You get the one here. Go where the expats are going. And that's the thing too. A lot of guys have found actually pretty good success meeting foreign girls who come here, but just realize it only takes a couple years of culture for them to slip right back into it. And this is nothing new. Eddie Murphy had it in his stand-up special Raw, which came out in 1982. So while this may give you a leg up in the short term, just realize women tend to be examples of their environment. So as soon as they're here, you just got to remember the game's still going to matter. Enjoy your heads up. Enjoy that you took care of a market inefficiency and got a little bit better than you would have normally. Enjoy it while it lasts. Similar to the above suggestions, a man having trouble picking up girls should consider could relocate to the heartland. His money will go further, his style will be intriguing, and his public policy degree will be treated like a certificate of alphaness. Girls will be a little dumber, a little less worldly, so his marginally witty jokes will get more mileage. He can probably afford a spacious house out there where a basement apartment was all he could swing in New York City. Nightlife will be free and of Eurotrash and $12 drinks. And the downsides, obesity epidemic, a resentful good old boy prone to violence, lower job opportunities, bastard kids, and the smell of manure. Yeah, I was raised on a ranch. I never want to go. There's two smells I never want to have to smell again. And that's manure and silage. Go live in a brewery if you don't believe me. So it's not for me, but hey, satirically, it's a pretty good call. Number 4 is lie. The option requires some creativity and a total lack of moral fiber, but the guy who can pull off the talented Mr. Ripley routine will gain access to a secret society of hot chicks. Convincingly lying about trips to the Himalayas, treasure hunting expeditions, brushes with death in the Congo, high stakes gambling, or his life as a fashion photographer, and having the presence of mind to keep up the ruse for months will get him laid. Downside, forget about long-term relationships. That's so true. The thing about lies is you can't keep them up forever. People will always notice the incongruence. It'll be in small, subtle ways, and it's usually with your body language, stuff that you can't lie with. And there's eventually going to be a time where you run into somebody who's done the thing that you're bragging about, and they'll always see it in the end. If you don't believe me, go check out Riv and his green lines, and you'll see, yeah, that guy probably hasn't been the best at day game. The last one, hit on damaged goods. Women who have been through the emotional rigor are likely to appreciate the beta's honest, straightforward, and naive propositioning. Some women need to get burned more than once to learn the lessons, but eventually even the most die-hard lovers grow weary of the hurt. Recent divorcees, lonely housewives, single moms, and former hookers with a heart of gold are the targets. Downside, STDs, kids, and short shelf lives. That one kind of hit it. You're not going to find your trad waifu out of these girls. What's going to happen if a girl has had a high, exciting, jet-setting life, and she's tired of all the games and she wants to settle down? You'll enjoy her. You'll have fun together. You'll be that perfect relationship for 2 months, 3 months, maybe even as long as 6 months. But eventually that itch starts scratching again, and she'll jump right back into the game. I've been there on this one. A lot of guys have been there on this one. If you catch a girl who's on the downswing of her emotional roller coaster life, enjoy it, but understand there's a shelf life to it. Anyways, on that note, guys, enjoy the satire. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Cheers. Charles Bukowski, Jordan Peterson, Neil Strauss. I like these guys. Add some salt to cover up the bitterness of middle-aged soccer moms and put in the oven for 45 minutes. Optionally, you can take from all this stuff what you want and leave the rest. So enjoy Fuck Files. 15 lessons from a decade of women, now on audio.